Good evening, everybody. This is show number 115 of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. Jimmy Palumbo Show 115, been in the league a while. Of course, usually I have Chris Gucci behind the glass, but due to some technical difficulties, plus my special guest decided we got to go a half hour earlier. One of the things about the Jimmy Palumbo Show is we aim to please here. Of course, I don't know a damn thing about technology, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So we will shit ourselves here at Shea. We will start the show with just me, which is fine. I'm wearing my new Rutgers baseball hat that my brother got me, a Memorial Day weekend day here from the Omni. And we will start with what we do, those of you scoring at home. I have the pack of baseball cards, and this one may be the all-time shittiest in the spokes. No, I think this guy himself would put the card in his spokes now, even at 80 years old, however long he is. Let me turn on the chat room here before I see this here. I got, that I don't know what Greg McCarty's talking about, but we are here. So here we go. This guy, his name it's a 1982 card, okay? There you go. Roger Erickson. I don't think people in the Roger Erickson family know who Roger is. He played from 78 to 83, played with the Twins and the Yankees. Right-hander, big right-hander. He was 35 and 53 with an ERA of 4.13. All right. With the Yankees in 82 and 83, he was 4-5 with a 4.46 ERA. He came to the trade with Butch Weiniger, which, people remember. I used to like Butch Weiniger. When I played wiffle ball back in the day, he was my guy. And bottom line is he just got bounced around. Then he ended up in the minor leagues. And then he ended up like just in the Mexican leagues. And then he got into what do you call it? Like sporting goods stores. That didn't go. Then he bought batting cages. And last I heard, he's teaching like baseball with batting cages. I don't know. But the back of his card is the all-time shitty thing. I love when baseball cards have things on the back of the card that even as a kid made no sense. Listen to this, what they put on the back of the card. In the first 15 games of the second half of the 1981 season, Amos Otis hit 4 home runs, 15 hits, and 13 RBIs. Like, that's not even, like, what is that? That's not even, like, that's like a stat that means it's like, he got a couple of hits one night. Why did the guy even bother to print that? The other one was, this is classic, Miguel DeLone set Indians record with 61 stolen bases in 1980. Just like I never even heard of that guy. It had to be broken by then. And here's the best one. Ready for this? This is why baseball cards are the greatest invention in American industry. It should be like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and Topps baseball cards. It says on the bottom, Roger defeated the Angels 8-1 on a 6-hitter on August 17th, 1980. Like that's all you got for this guy? Like he just tossed 6 hits. But there is one funny stat about him that I found is funny. Is now, again, this is what baseball's so different now. This guy sucked, right? His record was 35 and 53, but he had 24 complete games. Think about that. I don't think there's a pitcher in the major leagues right now combined. There's not pitching staffs that have 24 complete games in 117 starts. This guy, and he took the ball. He'll give you 9. I'd love a guy like that. Getaway day on a Thursday. He'll give you 9 innings, save the bullpen here, Shay. So funny to me. Anyway, that's it. Roger Erickson. Chris is not here. He got stuck at the post office, which I tell you, that's the beauty of the Jimmy Palumbo Show here. If somebody's got to go mail something, he can't get on the show on time. Now, if we were doing a major broadcast, this was ESPN Live, I would be like, good evening, everybody. It's a good day for baseball here. Chris Gucci's mailing something, but we got screwed up with time. I won't give him so much shit because he's usually pretty good about that. So now, real quick, one order of business before we get to our special guest here from the Omni. Patreon news. Listen, my Patreon now. Listen, I'm the Tampa Bay Devil Rays of the Patreon right now. I'm lighting it up. That's because we were stuck at number 27. I had 27 Patreons, which, by the way, is Giancarlo Stanton's number. And all of a sudden, they announced that Giancarlo is starting in Somerset, New Jersey for the AAA Somerset Patriots tonight on a Tuesday. So what happens? You go to Jimmy Palumbo's Patreon, and we've moved on to number 28. That's right. 28, Brian Shevlin comes in. Now, think about Brian here at Shea. He's a senior lawyer at Pernod Ricard. That's a liquor company. And you know what? They don't sell that many different brands. Maybe you've heard of a few of these. They have Chivas, Jameson, Glenlivet, Absolute, Malibu, Avion Tequila, Seagram's Gin, Kahlua. Listen, these is a big-time booze company here, Shay. And he's a big-time lawyer over there. He was also my roommate at the Scholar Night of Rutgers back in 1983, everybody. And he finally joined, and he's married, but I actually met his wife first. She was dancing with me. I was scattering 4 hits with his gorgeous wife. And then she found out I wasn't Jewish, and Brian was right there, and he's Jewish, and they danced the night away, and they've been married for 30 years ever since. And, of course, we know about the Jimmy Palumbo story, how that turned out. Anyway, so that's it. We are stuck here at 28, and I will read them off as I normally do. They are Alex Detsena, Mary Eileen Riccardi, my sister, Big George DeMosi, my mom, of course, Joe Palumbo, Rob Pastor, my Kappa Sig from the 80s, James Kanowitz, website guy, can't get in touch with him, Jimmy Riccardi, my nephew, John Henry Riccardi, my nephew, Eric Palumbo, my nephew. It's family day here at Shea. Michael Caprio, sponsor, of course, my second baseman. My brother, Frank Palumbo, the CFO of the whole damn thing. Darryl Clark, my LSU boy down there in Louisiana. Greg Castellino, Mike Shecky, I'm a Dolphin fan. I suck. Lawler, Dave Ben, one of the few men I went to school with for 17 years, we found out. 17 years I went to school with this man. Patty Volkamer from L.A., Chop Sports' favorite thing, and he's going to come up very shortly because I'm going to mention something about Patty. Martin Walsack, Michael Deege from Beer League, Janine Michaud of Absolute Eyewear, Robin Achane Barna, John Henry Palumbo, my cousin, Greg Alperin getting involved here. He's my partner with the Beer League series. Bobby Palumbo, my nephew. Tommy Palumbo, my nephew. If I had more nephews, I'd be loaded. That's the problem. I ran out of nephews. Tyson Hogan, one of the only guys I don't even know. He's just a fan. So the over and under on not knowing my Patreon people is 1. Louis Vichadomini, Weege coming in at 27. And of course, your friend and mine, Brian Shevlin coming in at 28. We are very close to catching Joe Rogan. We're only down 9-0 with 1 out in the 9th. But you never know. You never can tell. All right, so that's it, Patreon. I love you guys. Love you very much. So now we might as well just get right to it here. I have a very special guest. Now, people may not know that I know this guy, but I do. Okay? And I'm going to click on him right here. Ladies and gentlemen, getting involved on the Jimmy Palumbo Show for the first time, your friend and mine from the King of Queens and 100 other TV shows. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Gary Valentine getting involved here. Gary, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Jim? How are you? You sound good, buddy.
What's going on, man?
You sound good. You know what? You sound like, you know who Bobby Slayton is? Comedian Bobby Slayton?
Yeah.
You resemble him a lot.
I know, but I wish I had his set. You know,
got a good show, but you got a good show too. You're doing a good job.
I'm hanging in there. So listen, we've been playing phone tag for about 11 years. Yep. Back in the day, we used to hang out in the greater Los Angeles area. And we had a lot of fun back in the day. We ended up, we went to you took me over, where did we go? What's that guy's? We went to a Neil Diamond concert. I don't know if you remember that.
Neil's the best.
Yeah, we had 8th row right there. Best part about this, I thought the tickets were free. Next thing you know, you're like, hey, Jimmy, give me my $400. It's like the best part. Listen, I tell people all the time, if you're gonna only have $500 to your name, you got to blow $400 on a Neil Diamond ticket. That's the way to go, right?
Yeah. And I think back then we only had about 500 to our name. Yeah.
So the thing I don't remember is I don't remember how we met. Was it through Eddie Driscoll and Pat Volkamer?
Yeah, I think it was through Eddie. And I don't know who Pat is, but Eddie.
Pat Volkamer was one of Eddie's friends.
Okay.
I think you know who he is because he's friends with some of the comedian buddies you have. And another historic thing that me and Gary did together was we watched the famous Kurt Schilling bleeding through the sock game.
04.
That's right. I watched that with your dad, God rest his soul, and a bunch of other comedians. I don't remember who. You remember that night?
Yeah, I do. It was I think Mike Burton was there, Jackie Flynn.
Yeah.
Bunch of the hoodlums.
Yeah, the game went, a very exciting game. Of course, it was all Red Sox fans, and you were like you were like rooting for New York, but you were kind of a Met fan. So I know you didn't like the Yankees.
No, and to tell you the truth, the honest truth, maybe I never told you this. gung ho for the Sox. Like I just thought that was the best thing. And then when it came back 3-0, and then it beat St. Louis. That was amazing. You got to admit that was an amazing thing.
It was. I knew. I was like the only Yankee fan. Bunch of Boston people. But that's a fun thing we did. So, well,
but now I like the Yanks, Jim. I like the homegrown boys, and this kid Volpe's going to be good. Right. Of course, I love my Mets with Beatty and Vientos and Alvarez coming up, and Jeff McNeil's my favorite player. This guy can hit anything.
The Mets they started off a little shitty. They seem to be getting it going now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pitching. Yeah, they got the thing about it. I don't know what your theory. Again, I like to bust balls on certain players. I'm hard on guys like Rizzo. I think he stunk last year, but I'm hard on guys like LeMahieu. But you know what guy I think Met fans can be brutal, and they're also funnier than Yankee fans. So if you listen to WFAN late at night, I always say this: the best radio in the world is a Sunday night when the Mets lose a 1:00 game to Atlanta and the Jets lose to the Patriots on the 4:00 game, and you're driving home somewhere at 11:00 at night, you put WFAN on. The fans are brutal. They're funny. It's classic radio. But you know what guy I think is flying under the radar, and he makes a lot. Lindor, he's making $34 million a year. And I know he gets his RBIs somehow, and he's good in the field. But listen, we're talking about good fielders in the major leagues. There's tons of those. I think this guy has been getting a pass by the Met fans. And I don't know if there's 225. If he goes 225 all year long and they don't make the playoffs, I think they're going to – what do you think about that?
I agree with you. I love this guy. I love his talents, but I think he's more concerned about what purse he's going to bring to the ballpark that day and the color of his hair. Hey, look, I'm all about style, and I love it, but he's got to get it going, man. He's got to get it going. This guy is so talented, and we've seen it. We saw it in Cleveland,
for sure.
And the two guys we gave up, Rosario and Jimenez, they were good young players, man,
Yeah. And they had good years last year, not so much this year.
Right, not so much this year, but you could actually say they're almost equal in parts,
Right. I just think the $34 million. I mean, listen, the other thing is money doesn't matter anymore. Yankees have been spending money for 1,000 years, and Cohen doesn't care either. But
he's the new Steinbrenner now.
Right.
Cohen,
I just wondering when the Mets, I think he, when he gets up to the plate, I don't hear a little booze coming down, and everybody's still cheering him on. I'm like, he's batting 225, I think. That's too low.
Yeah, but if you remember last year, he started out really slow. Right. Last year, the year before, and then he came on. He had a really good season.
Right.
So I think that's what's happening. Maybe he's a slumpy guy. I know he goes in and out of things. First of all, I should be in playing ball instead of Vogelback. You got to give me a break. This guy's in Major League Baseball because he could hit a baseball 9 miles, but he can't. He doesn't swing the bat.
It's unbelievable. I totally get that. Well, listen, we had Gallo last year with the Yanks. I was like, the reason why Gary Valentine and Jimmy Plumbo aren't starting for the Yankees and Mets is because we can't hit, right? So when Gallo was up, you can hit better than Gallo, I'm sure. But in other words, that's the reason why we can't play. So why do these guys who can't hit continue to be allowed to play? It just makes me crazy.
Yeah. Gallo's coming on a little bit now, but yeah, at least he swings the bat. That's the thing, Jimmy. You got to swing the bat.
You can't be looking for walks all the time. Now, Wait a minute. Are you a Jet fan as well?
I'm a Jet fan.
Okay, so wait a minute now. You got to talk to me about this. What do you think about Rodgers and all this stuff?
I love it because I think the guy's got a lot of gas in the tank, and I know he's 39 years old, but I think this might be the first year we could beat the Patriots in 20 years.
Right. I think he's going to do. I think he's going to do great this year and maybe even next year. And some Jet fans oh, how long? But wait a minute, how long? The Jets just need to win now.
Yes.
Even if they can somehow get in the playoffs at 11-5 or whatever, 11-6. I still go by the 16-game schedule when I don't say, oh, he's done it the 6-17 game. They shut up. 11-5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
12-5. Then whatever the hell. I think the Jets last year probably had the poorest quarterback play of any team in the league, and Rodgers is definitely going to be better than what they had last year.
Absolutely, and as long as you surround yourself with some receivers, which they did, It's been great. You know, I played golf with Greg Buttle recently, who used to be a linebacker for the Jets back in the 80s. And we were talking about quarterbacks. And since Joe Willie, really, the Jets, I mean, what's his name? Kenny O'Brien was pretty good back in the day. You know, but they really hurt with quarterbacks. They really
quarterbacks have not come out of the Jet camp. And I think they miss. I think that the big problem with the Jets is they don't have the dirt infield in the middle of the field at Shea. I think once you get if you ever watch. Again, those of you under 40 now, I think when they watch an old highlight of Jets, and like it's funny as hell. The guy's throwing it down and out like over second base. It's like that's insane. Nobody plays with the infield now.
I think Oakland did for a while.
It can't be now though.
Now the Rangers are in.
But playing across the infield, that's so funny. I used to love that.
Yeah. You still see the lines.
And like, probably there was, could have been a game like on Thursday night at Shea, and they turned it into, I know when Yankee Stadium does football, the corner of the end zone, you got 2 feet between the blue wall and the corner. So if a guy catches a fade, he's pounding. It's like, you can't do it. It doesn't work. You got to have a regular football stand.
Can't work.
So anyway, so let's talk a little bit about you, of course. Now, you obviously were on King of Queens. Why don't you fill in the Jimmy Palumbo audience a little bit how that came about? I know you were doing stand-up, your brother was auditioning, and how did that whole thing go down? I don't even know myself.
Yeah, well, my brother Kevin was selected for this part on the King of Queens, and we went to the Montreal Comedy Festival back in '97, and we both did pretty well, but he got some real looks for this show, and they ended up casting him on the show, and I helped write I think it was 3 episodes, and with the hopes of maybe getting on the show one day and doing something. And conveniently enough, we wrote an episode with the pizza guy that I did in my act, where if someone calls up a pizza place and the guy goes, "Hey, how you do? What is it? Pepperoni, 15 minutes." Hangs up the phone and goes, "We got a softball league going on today." If you hear that you're getting a real Italian guy.
Right.
Well, that was the bit, the stand-up bit. It was a little bit longer than that, but so we wrote that character in, and I played the part, and the producers came up to Kevin and says, "Do you think Gary wants to be a full-time cast member?" And let me think. Yeah.
Let me think. Do I want to play in the big leagues with my brother and make network money? Yeah.
So that was a very nice opportunity, and thanks be to God, it went 9 years. It went. Who'd have thunk?
Unbelievable.
Bunch of idiots just and there were no egos on the show either. It was great. It was really a good cast, and people say that all the time, but even the guest stars that we had on, they loved coming on our show. It was like this is like so relaxed, and
I always wondered that had a chance. I mean, obviously, you and your brother, that had to change. Did it change you and your brother at all, or you personally? Like, you go from back then, there wasn't all these different networks. Back then, that was like a CBS show. You guys were successful, but like the big difference between Montreal Comedy Festival and being on Channel 2. You know what I mean? Like, did it change you guys at all? I mean, did it did it naturally? Like, how did it affect you? Obviously financially it did, but
I don't think it affected us too much. We're pretty much into our faith, and we believe that there's bigger things to do if you're in that spotlight, and if you can carry that in a different path. But look, everyone likes to make some money, and everyone likes a little bit of fame. It's annoying at times, but it's great most of the time. And most people are very nice. You get the guys that want to hate and stuff like that, but it didn't really change. I'm just speaking for myself, me that much, and my brother that really. But like I said,
your parents must have went nuts, right?
What's that?
Because you were not living in LA. Like, your parents were still East Coast. Your family's still in Long Island.
Well, we moved out in '96. We were in LA. We were living in LA.
You were in LA when you booked. I did not know that. Okay.
We slept on Ray Romano's floor for a month.
That's great.
Right when he got Raymond, and we ended up moving into the apartment building where he was when we got the show going. So it was pretty nice that way. But
yeah, Ray's a nice guy. I met him at a comedy club the right before he shot the pilot. I'll never forget this. I said to him, "Hey Ray," and I just had seen him do stand up, and he did that bit about the orange juice. I think it's the funniest bit of all time. And I said, "Hey man, my name is Jimmy." I was doing live on tape with NBC at the time, the sketch comedy thing. And I said, "Hey Ray, man, I'm a big fan of your comedy. You're great." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, I've done a few pilots, but I got this like kind of team together, and it's my last shot. It's with CBS, and the next thing you know, Ray Romano's, Derek Jeter.
Well, you talk about how things happen, man. He was on the show News Radio and went in on Friday for a table read. Monday, he was fired.
Unbelievable.
Let go. And he's distraught.
Sure.
And then here comes Raymond, the opportunity for this. And it's based on his comedy, based on his family and all that stuff. And look what it was, the #1 show forever. And, that was the cool thing. Like, you listen to golf tournaments on Sunday and, Nance going on CBS, the King of Queens,
that's the best.
Games, Nance on CBS.
That's great. That's like, to me, that
was great.
That's like if we used to always say, as a Rutgers football fan, it never happened, but we always wanted to be a game where Keith Jackson was like, and of course we're going to be down there in Piscataway in about 2 hours. Of course, he died before. I'll be dead before Rutgers has that happen. But there's something about hearing that.
As a sports fan, you can't beat it. Just watching the golf, watching the football, and hearing that.
I will say a thing about you and your brother on King of Queens. I've seen it on reruns a bunch of times. And it's the same for Ray Romano. And the first year of the show, you guys were great, but you guys were like, you could just see you guys were like raw yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trying to figure it out.
And in the beginning, when you look back at it now, you can make the argument like, oh my God, these guys aren't that good. However, season 4 or 5, you guys were like, you can't make that like, wow, these guys are batting 340 right now. And the same thing for Ray Romano. In the beginning, he was the worst actor on the show by far. But I think the last 3 seasons, I think Ray Romano was by far the best actor, and continuing on. And you and your brother, I thought at that show, you guys got real. Well, I guess you got in a groove and all that, but you guys were very, very, very good on that show the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jimmy. I mean, like you're right though. You try to figure it out in the beginning. It was like getting thrown to the wolves. It was really my first acting gig.
Sure.
I mean, I went out to. I did a spot on Conan O'Brien and on NBC, and from that I got this show called Friday Night Videos, way back when, where they would do bands and stuff in the MTV era and all that stuff in 97, 98, and that was the same time King of Queens was starting, so it was like kind of cool that and then my show didn't last too long after that, but it was great, and that was like my first acting thing. So it's like, you figure it out. And my brother too, we didn't do a lot of acting. You act on stage, the stand-up.
Yeah, it's different. I get you guys
you're reading other people's lines, obviously.
What do you guys do you now when you the first couple of years, how many episodes were you involved? Were you in the writer's room, or was that just were you allowed to write episodes, or what was the deal with that?
No, usually we our friend Rock Rubin was we've known him since Little League, since we were 7 years old. And as it turned out, he was a stand-up. And he was hired as a writer. And I would kind of give ideas to Rock and go that way through that, because I didn't want to step on any toes, on the writer's toes. Right. The episodes that we wrote, it was Rock. We were asked to write those. So we wrote them. But the writer's room, that was their room. That was their thing, their deal,
So when you wrote an episode, then it went into the writer's room for touch-ups and changes and all that?
Yeah, shit? Exactly. Wow. You hope some of your jokes, land and stuff like that.
Right.
And other times I've pitched lines in other episodes too that kind of got in there, which was a neat thing, But in the beginning, I think I was on, out of 22, I was on 13 episodes. Most years I wasn't on the whole first year. I got on the end of the first year.
Right.
And then for 8 years I did about, I think I ended up doing about 80 something episodes out of the 200 or something. Yeah.
Right. No, that's just an awesome gig. You know, the I know from a few times I've been on a bunch of sitcoms, and
yeah,
you know,
I know you were the creepy guy in Friends.
yeah, creepy guy. There you go, sick fat bastard. But you know what? On that Thursday, if you tape on a Friday, anyway, on that Thursday or Wednesday, I forget which day, you have that run through in front of the writers, right? Yeah,
yeah.
And I remember being with some actors. Some actors are like, they're getting. I'm talking about not the stars. They're getting into their mode. But I was with a couple of. I've done shows where I was like, hey, we got to nail this, because if you don't, it gets written. Like, in other words, if you're a guest star and you have 8 lines and you shit the bed on that Tuesday or Wednesday read through, you got 1 line on Friday night. Like, and some of the actors were like playing with the lines and trying to work through them, and I was like, no. Throw as hard as you can, because you know. And I learned that lesson, because one time, one of the things I didn't really get the scene, and I should have. You know, when you're like a guest star, a co-star, you can't be like, "Excuse me, I don't understand any of that." It was
of course,
it was a physical thing, and during the thing, it didn't go well. Next, you know, whoop, that was gone at it. But I was still in it a little more. But then I learned a lesson. So now when I get on a sitcom, I am like Mariano from the get-go, the read-through, you know, 100 miles an hour. That's it. Fuck everybody. But then I noticed, and it happened to me on some recent stuff I've done, when you're there every day, you get to know the crew, you get relaxed. It's such a difference. So, I mean, you must have been able to play with lines, and how was that like working the characters? In other words, how much play were you able to do before the taping, obviously?
Well, you know, as you know, but maybe the audience doesn't know, in a sitcom, it's a 3-camera shoot. So cameras are positioned during the rehearsals, and then where the actors are standing and they have to be in a certain position. So improv is really my strength. Like, I improvise a lot in my stand-up, and I just love it. But when you're done on a sitcom, you got to really stick to the lines. You could play a little bit. And if you do something that's a little off and they like it, they keep it, and they'll move the cameras for you. You know, it's not like cameras are there, you can't do anything. They want you to be free, you know, as free as you can within the limits, you know, kind of thing. So that was fun. We did play a little bit, you know. We do 2nd and 3rd takes, and, you know, 8th takes, and throw different lines in there. You know, they call them alternates.
Right. Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
So the show, obviously, listen, the show went on a pretty long time. What was it like when the show got canceled? Did you see it coming? Everybody kind of knew it. You didn't know?
We actually, my brother and Leah, they kind of wanted it to end, and at first we were like, really? But you know what? Seinfeld said this. You know, he goes, you always want them leaving more, like in stand-up. You always want to leave them wanting more, and I think we were running out of ideas. They didn't have a kid, then they were going to have a baby. That was going to change the dynamic of the show.
Sure.
So they decided to just get out while they were on top, and you know, it was good. It was a good run.
The show always did well in the ratings. I mean, pretty much the whole run, pretty much.
It did. It did. And then, of course, in 2007, there was a writer's strike, as there is now.
Which
so
sucks.
None of us could go into another show or do anything else where our hands were tied, you know? So that was kind of a bummer that way, as it is now.
So when, what was your involvement in the Kevin Can Wait? I know you did about 48 episodes of those. So I'm looking on IMDb. I printed it out, did my research.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow.
How did that come about? The show was Kevin Can Wait. I think it aired, what did it air for 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
2 seasons. We were in, it's funny because I wrote a script about this, and this is what we're in the middle of pitching right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to go into detail, but
yeah, it's I can't really go into detail, but the story is funny because I was living in LA, as was Kevin, and he wanted to move back to Long Island, and he said, "Would you move back to Long Island?" I said, "You know what? I got to be out here. This is where the business is, and blah blah blah, and I want to be out here closer to everything else." And he goes, "Well, what if we had a show?" And I said, "Yeah, you know, if we had a show, I'll do it." And as it turns out, we shot in Bethpage, which people
I know where it is.
The golf course, Bethpage Black, where the PGA plays once in a while.
Was that at that old
Grumman?
Yeah. I shot Man on a Ledge out there.
Oh, you did?
I got relatives out there. I stayed at my aunt's house. I got other money. It was not, of course. driving out to Long Island. I needed a Black Hawk to get me there.
Yeah. So we rented a house, and we were 20 minutes away from the studio. It was great. And the nice thing about it is my dad actually worked there when he was 21 years old, a million and a half years ago.
That's wild.
Yeah, just a kid just trying to get a job. He worked for Grumman, and
that's a great way to move back to East Coast with a gig on network TV.
Yeah, it was really nice. So we did that, and we shot in literally the same building. They turned it into the studios, and it was crazy. Right. But what happened was I went out and bought the house, and then they canceled us in the next month. It was literally, I bought the house in April, May, done.
Right. I hope you save your money when you have these awesome gigs, bro. Because you know what happens. Next thing you know, you're down in Pawtucket scattering 6 hits. Here comes Gary Valentine out of King of Queens and Kevin Can Wait. We will go to the 8th here at Somerset. He'll get on the bus for a little bit, But listen. My old roommate Henry, he was on sitcoms for years, Webster and this that, and he talked about the rise and then going down the backside. How does that, listen, not that you used to work now, but how did you handle all that? All right, when's the next big ass show coming along? How did you keep yourself from not losing your mind?
Well, that was the thing. Coming off of King of Queens, going to Kevin Can Wait, I thought, my gosh, we're shooing right here, especially the first year we had an actress playing his wife, and I don't know the details, but they wanted to recast. And of course, Leah Remini comes on. That's when I was like, maybe I should go out and get the Ferrari now. I never did. And I'm glad because they canceled us right away. So,
I auditioned for it. I remember there was audition. In the beginning when they don't know who's attached on the breakdowns, I think I read for your part. And then so I remember reading it, my agent, the agents are always excited about stuff, and then
I played a fireman. You would have been great.
Yeah. Then I found out I called my agent. He was like, "Hey, Jimmy, I think they liked you." And I'm like, I just talked. Gary Valentine's playing that part. And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm not getting that part. He's really, the show's called Kevin Can Wait, and Gary's probably, they sometimes bring in, whatever. But I think I read another time there was a second or third fireman down the line. And that would have been funny, but I don't think we were having phone tag back. It would have been funny next, I show up on the set. It would have been
it would have been great. Yeah. And I've gone in LA. I've gone on auditions and it says Kevin James type, and I still didn't get it.
I always say that I'll audition for the Jimmy Palumbo show. Jimmy Palumbo time, and I won't get it. I was, it's like you just
back to Pawtucket with 25-cent beers.
Here he is. He's a journeyman. At this point in my career, I feel like I'm one of those guys. 12 years, 8 teams, and if I make the Hall of Fame at this point, what hat will he wear on the plaque? That's up for discussion right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It turns out I was with the A's the first 3 years. To wear that, there's a consensus.
Todd Zeal with 11 teams, most home runs with most teams.
So after Kevin Can Wait, what'd you do after that? I mean, I guess you were auditioning like crazy. I know you did some films.
I did a few films, which was great. And that's basically what I've been doing. I've been just writing right now. Like I said, we're in the middle of pitching a show. And then the writer's strike struck.
Right.
So we're kind of sitting on our hands right now.
I know, I'm actually working on 2 projects, right? One, obviously, the Beer League series, the thing. I'll send you the trailer. But it's funny. I know, it's funny. I have to, when I look at my Rolodex, as they say at Shea, I'm like, you know what? And these are shorts for the web, webisodes and stuff. But I realize I know so many people. Let me get Gary for a day to play a jerk off softball player for a day. What? Utilize the guys I know. First of all, I know who they are. Yeah. It's not why go out and try to get some comedian that I don't know. Right. Yeah. I was I'm going to call Gary. If he says yes, he says yes. If he says no, because some of the cast members from Beer League, they like me as a person, but they're like, I just can't do it. I'm working on films. I'm like, all right, we'll see if you squeeze. I'd rather have a personal conversation rather than Well, the agent said, like, no, let me.
Right.
I'm not calling Gary's agent. I'll say, hey,
Yeah,
Gary,
yeah.
you around next weekend for 3 hours on a Tuesday? I'll send you the script, you know. And
Yeah.
that's how kind of when I do it, I realized that I accumulated all these different things. So I'd love to have you on Beer League. The series would be funny. So.
That'd be great.
Plus, all you got to do is really sit at the bar and talk shit, which I think that's what you're. So your stand up.
Yeah.
You're doing obviously tons of stand up. I guess you on tour with your brother. You're all over the place. What's going on there?
Yeah, we're doing shows together. He's got this theater tour, and he asked me if I wanted to jump on, so I would go up. We just have a good time. We did. We're on a little bit of a break now. This weekend, we're going to.
What do you guys do? Like 30? Because you're a headliner. How do you guys do that? You split. It's like a dual headlining show. Then.
Yeah, but no, he's doing most of it. I'm doing about 20 minutes up front just to get him going. And
you do the 3 comedians, or just you and him?
No, just me and him. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And I guess we're doing about 60 dates.
Wow,
you know?
That's nice.
So, yeah, it's been good, and we're probably like in the middle of it now. You know,
right?
And we'll have a little summer run. We were out in the Northwest in Oregon, which I've never been, by the way.
Never been there either.
Yeah, we were in let's see, where were we? North Dakota, and, you know, Seattle was beautiful. And then we went down the coast in California, went out to Palm Springs.
There we go. And plus, you're going to be down in Red Bank, New Jersey, in a couple of weeks, right, or a month or something like that.
We're going to be in Red Bank this Saturday.
It's this Saturday night.
Saturday is the third, yeah.
I gotta see if I get down there, bust your balls.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask is, you know, we have a connection. I think you forgot about this when they talk about the 8 separations of whatever that guy's name was. Kevin Bacon. This is a Kevin Bacon moment here from the Omni in downtown, because I'm coming live from my shitty kitchen studios in downtown Mahwah, New Jersey. Of course, you got Gary Valentine in Huntington, Long Island, which I was there a couple weeks ago. I got tons of family in Plainview, by the way. A lot of Palombos out there.
Yeah.
But I wonder, we have a connection. You probably forgot about this. I mean, in the Nelson Doubleday, I was on the pilot of the X Show. I don't know. Do you remember that with Mark DiCarlo?
I do remember that.
And he's a classic Jimmy Palumbo. The show was supposed to be like the male version of The View. Okay. So but they wanted regular people. And Mark was kind of attached in the beginning. I didn't know him, Mark DiCarlo. Now he's a good friend of mine. And then there was like me, and they kind of knew I had some, and then 2 other guys, African-American guy, and this tight end from like Ball State out of nowhere. And classic. I thought I lit it up in the pilot. I thought I was just like 28 points a game, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, right? Totally, you know, I thought I was, you know, a little bit younger. I thought I was, I'm coming off a live on tape. I'll just give me the ball. Just, you know, I thought I was better than DiCarlo. Like, give me more lines, you know. Next thing you know, the show gets picked up and Jimmy Palumbo is not on the roster. I was in shock. DiCarlo like literally called the network. It was like, you can't get rid of Jimmy. He's the guy. Well, we're going to a different. Next thing you know, all these different guys, and of course that went on. But do you know? And you were probably there. Were you there the day when they had everybody on the last show?
Yes. Yeah.
So I call him DiCarlo because even though officially I wasn't on the show, it's just on the pilot. I go, Mark, you have to talk to it was like, you know, 8 years later, however long it was. I was like, so they had me come out to the audience as the guy who never was on the show. I felt like Gene Woodling at Old Timers Day at Yankee Stadium. Here's a guy back in 51. He was 6 for 8 against that big series in Boston. You get that like pattering of applause. You know what I mean? My God.
I remember that vaguely, but I do.
I think you were there. We might have went together. It was probably 2004. Do you remember how was doing the X Show? No one probably remembers that show.
No, you know what? They wanted it to be more like the man show. The man.
Yeah, there was the man show, and then they wanted like the guy talk. That's what they wanted.
But they ended up having 3 guys, me, and Bert Kreischer was on that show too.
Right. I tried to look it up on IMDb, but they don't have DiCarlo on. I couldn't find you. Like, I don't know. The IMDb is weird. Maybe I didn't do it right. I know there had to be a bunch of hosts. The show ran long.
It was 3 guys and then a girl, Daphne Brogdon, they hired. And
I remember.
They did. We just did. I know. I interviewed Slash and.
But didn't DiCarlo do the first season, 2 seasons.
I think he was out pretty quick, and
I
the
don't
4
remember
of us
seeing all
were
that
in.
stuff. So I
And
went
it
out
only
to dinner.
lasted like 2 years.
How was Slash? Because I went out to dinner with him, and I got to be honest with you. You know what I couldn't get over? Like, I know he's Slash, the guitar guy, right? And famous, right?
Yep.
But when you're having dinner with someone, I just had trouble calling him Slash. Like, I wanted to go like, so it's Ron, right? Or Dave, or like, and yet everybody was just calling him Slash. And I wanted to call like a TV timeout and go like, all right, man, we're having an intimate dinner here. Like,
Yeah.
what's your real name? You don't let people call you Slash all day.
Yeah.
And
All
but
I
he
remember
does.
is he wanted we shot at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he wanted bourbon in his coffee cup.
Oh, there you go. He was
There
ready.
you
He
go.
was a player.
He's a blow. He's a pro.
He was over there at the Rainbow. Did we go to the Rainbow Room one night? We were on it. We went a couple nights there. We went on like a little tour.
I don't know, but I remember we were in Vegas a little bit. Yeah.
And
Ran around
you
in
also
Vegas.
You took me to some CBS event we went to. It was
Where?
fun. I forget what it was. Some kind of maybe something with the advertisers. We had a
on
good time
Sunset,
there.
right?
Yeah, we were trying to act like I was on your coattails. That's how we got in. And we were both single at the time, so
Yeah.
it
Oh,
was
that's
fair
great.
game. And I remember within seconds we were back in my Ford Escort. Remember? My best thing, that's my fondest memory. I'm with a guy on King of Queens, and he leaves the bar with a guy in an '89 Ford Escort here in Shea. But you never get pulled. Cops don't pull over a Ford Escort.
It doesn't go fast enough.
Yeah. So that's it. But man, listen. So you're doing Red Bank. You're doing a tour with your brother. Everybody check that out. And your website, I'm sure, is it GaryValentine.com or something?
It's gvlaughs.com, but usually it's not much on there. There's just I do Instagram.
What's your
mostly.
Instagram what's your Instagram thing?
Gary_Valentine.
Gary_Valentine. That's another pain in the ass about these things. You gotta do underscores, dashes, and all the underscore.
We're too old. We can't remember this stuff.
I used to do a bit about that. You run into this like tough Italian guy. He's like, yeah, send me an email. I'm at Fuzzy Bear at AOL. It had an email that didn't match him. You know what I mean? Yeah, send me a Fuzzy the Bear at AOL. That's my like. What are you doing? It should just be your fucking name.
Yeah, give me write me a letter, a sweet princess.
By the way, just to let you know, Johnny Kelly, who I know you met back in the day, is hanging out with Eddie Driscoll right now. Driscoll says hello. Eddie, we love you. If you're listening with John now, I know you got some health problems. I know you're on the disabled list. Hopefully you'll be like John Carlos Stanton, get back off your feet there. So if you want to say hello to Eddie Driscoll,
Eddie,
you can.
Do well, buddy. Do all you can, baby. I'll pray for you.
There you go. We'll get back at the Foxfire Lounge and Theater on Magnolia. You forget about those days. All right. Well, listen, Gary, I can't thank you enough for coming on. And let's I'm gonna see if I can get down there, Redback, maybe Saturday. See if I can scoot down there and say hello to you.
That'd be great. I think there's 2 shows that night.
All right, I'll shoot you a text. I'll sneak in the back door or something. I know a guy down there. I'll figure it out. All right, man. Listen,
awesome,
thanks,
Jimmy, and so glad to see that your eyebrows are still growing, buddy.
Absolutely. Look at that. How big are they, bro? Look at that.
You got to do that. You comb them up.
Okay, I will tell you though. I'm working on a program.
My wife would love those eyebrows.
Well, that's how it starts. I'm working on a show, and I'm not allowed. That's why I'm wearing a hat. My hair. I look like I'm in a rock band. I'm not allowed to cut my hair until Thursday, so they can cut it. For continuity, Gary. You know how this stuff works. These 1-hour dramas. I'm on a drama. It's a drama, for Christ's sake. Anyway, love you, man. Good seeing you. And we will go to the 8th.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you, man. Peace. All right. GV's in the house. I appreciate him coming on. God bless America. Now, of course, we got to get to the regular part of the show. Chris Gucci is still not here. I don't know where he is. Let's see. He's probably texting me. No, Chris Gucci doesn't even care. Chris, if you get this, I would suggest that you text me and I'll send you the link. But otherwise, I'll just do the show by myself here. Round it out, 44 minutes in. So we had some fun there with Gary Valentine, old buddy of mine, colleague, I guess. We haven't hung out in a while, but we still have some laughs. I got to get to my sponsors here at Shea. The first one I guess I got to get to, of course, is Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. Craig and Janine Mashud. That's right. Family-owned opticians. I have trouble saying that word. You go there, you get glasses. God bless America. They got everything. They got all kinds of glasses there. They have your attention, please. Ray-Ban, Coach, Ralph Lauren, Dave Sturchio's Jimmy Choo, Silhouette, Michael Kors, Vogue, Maui Jim, Costa Del Mar, and Charles Oakley visits the store. They got everything, $100 off a complete pair. They're by the train station, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey. I can't even ask Chris why they're not open on Wednesdays and Sundays. We'll have to get to that next week as to why. I'll leave the audience hanging, although my audience should know at this point. Best thing about that absolute eyewear is when you leave there, you don't feel like a jerk off. All right. So let's get to a couple of things here. I'm looking at my notes here. Briefly, we could discuss this Taylor Swift thing. Okay. At the last second, my daughter wanted to go see Taylor Swift at MetLife. And I thought the tickets were reasonable, $45,000 for a ticket. I was like, I held off. But you know what's so funny? I give this girl credit. God bless her. She's making millions. That's cool. But I said, you know what? So I'm in my car. I went into Apple iTunes and said, hey Siri, play some Taylor Swift. And I didn't know one song, not one song. I didn't particularly dislike it. It just was like elevator music, pop music. But I was like, I don't know any of this songs. I can't believe there's a big act like that. I don't even know. I didn't know one song. But my daughter now, I'm sure I will be, I gave her a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich. I thought that was to replace the Taylor Swift concert. But I got to give her credit, man. Everybody I've talked to said it was a great show. She does a 3.5-hour show, and she's kind of cool on stage, the self-deprecating humor and stuff like that. And what does she think? She's Bruce and the Allman Brothers doing? I think she did 48 songs or something. That's unbelievable. So I got to give her credit. I'm not a fan of her music. I don't know her music, but she came into the Meadowlands and lit it up much more than the Giants and Jets have in the last few years. Yankees, big news. Big news, of course, is Giancarlo Stanton will be coming to Somerset Patriots tonight, 7:00. I wish I could get down there. I'm still trying to figure out a way to scoot down there and have some fun. So yeah, Giancarlo is going to be coming back soon enough. That's cool. I discussed the Lindor thing with Gary Valentine. I just think, I don't know. I think this guy's getting a pass, man. I think the fans are going to turn on him. Maybe I'm wrong. 10 years, $341 million. You got to be better than that. Anyway, the big, also touched on it too a little bit. This whole Judge versus Alonso thing. Obviously, I think Judge is better. I'm a Yankee fan, but I think it's pretty cool. I don't hate the Mets, so I think it's pretty wild. And maybe some of my fans could bust my chops on this, but I don't think there's ever been two prolific home run hitters for 2 or 3 years anyway. One on the Mets, one on the Yankees in forever. Unless like back when Dave Kingman was hitting bombs, maybe Reggie, but like I'm trying to think. I don't remember. This is kind of cool. Both guys are legitimate. They're going to probably lead their league in home runs, or certainly. I think it's a cool little thing. Who's going to hit more? I think Judge catches him, but I don't know. It's kind of cool. Of course, I'd love for the Yankees to get him, but I'm sure he's signed with the Mets. I don't even know, but that would be great. So it'd be like Judge, Stanton, and then Alonso. I would think that would be very, very cool. But it's kind of cool. I don't remember. Someone's probably going to text me and say, Jimmy, in 1981, they had these two guys, whatever. But these are pure home run hitters and good hitters as well. I got to admit, by the way, Gallo's batting like 207, so everybody relax. He's back to his stink. But I got to admit something. I watched the Boston-Miami Heat game yesterday. And the Knicks have been so bad, so I'm out of touch with the NBA. But I got to admit, I just absolutely, I love watching the Boston Celtics lose at home. That's brutal. Knicks beat him in 5 one year in the playoffs. Ewing second or third year, I think. There's just nothing better than watching the Celtics lose. That old Red Auerbach thing, and they got smoked. Tough to come back from 3-0, but I'm a bitter Knicks fan who likes watching the Celtics lose. I admit it. I think Denver's going to win in 5. I think the Heat will steal one. But you never know at this point. People start to believe in themselves and they think they can beat anybody. So hey, you never know. Maybe the Heat will. I hope it goes 7 because I don't care who wins. I love series like this. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate the Heat. I used to, but they're a different team now. And I like Butler and the guy in Denver is a badass, Djokovic or Jokic, whatever his name is, the Joker. And of course, another one of my fine sponsors here is Oxy Magic, their carpet cleaning company. It's Oxy Magic USA.com. It's owned by my friend Tom DeLeo, however you pronounce that. Listen, they don't drag hoses through the whole house. You got stuff all over the place. They came to my apartment. They cleaned the rug. It was beautiful. They came in. The guy was nice, kind. He came in. He came out. He cleaned it. It looked spotless. It only takes a couple hours to dry. That's not like, in the old days when you got to get your carpets cleaned and they do it in the morning. You can't come back for 4 days. You find yourself at Sandy Hook on the beach waiting for your carpets to dry. That's awful. That does not happen here. They got all the green seal. They use EPA, Safer Choice, all the chemicals and all that stuff. They are certified green. They are green. They also do they do wall-to-wall carpeting, area rugs, upholstery. They do the tile and grout, clean that up real nice for you. Nobody likes to clean the grout. Everybody knows that. So it's one of those that's usually on the honey-do list. So, call Oxy Magic and they'll take care. They have 80 locations nationwide. So no matter where you are, go to OxyMagicUSA.com, put in your zip code. You'll find out what the nearest one is. And that's OXYMagic.USA.com. So OXYMagicUSA.com. I was told to spell it out because Tom thinks he's like a tough guy with pickleball. Is there anything, Tom? I'm just talking to you, Tom. He thinks he's like really good in pickleball, but he doesn't realize that. I'm just, he's ranked like number 4. I'm ranked like number 80, but he has no idea what's coming. The train is coming. Your reign is over, and your wife's better than you in pickleball anyway. So that's my way to bust Tom's balls. But no, two of them together are vicious on the court. They're awesome. And they're good people. They're also offering 0% company financing for new location owners. So if you're living in an area and you want to maybe start a little business, you get in touch with these guys on the website, OxyMagicUSA.com. That's Oxy with a Y here. That's Shay. And tell them Jimmy sent you. And if you want your carpets cleaned, you got to go to them. I insist that everybody gets their carpets cleaned this summer because maybe your carpets are filthy. Anyway, they're my sponsor. I love them. Thank you so much. OxyMagicUSA.com here from the Omni. The other things that are interesting in the world today, what do we got here? My heel. Listen, CNN's covering my heel injury. I did not forget about the 5K. I was with my family all weekend, and even they're calling me a fat bastard. They say I cannot finish under 31 minutes. Even my brother who runs marathons is like, Jimmy, you're not going to be able to do it. And I'm like, you know what? That's when you challenge the big right-hander out of Texas, we shall see. I'm not quite ready to run anything yet, but I will run let's say by the end of the summer, there's got to be a 5K somewhere, or maybe in the fall. That's when they happen a lot in September. I know there's one in Ramsey. Maybe I'll just pick the one in Ramsey. I'll get the date for that. And that's going to be the Battle Royale. Will Jimmy do the 5K under 31 minutes? That's going to be tough, but I got to see if I can do it. My buddy Rob is running him like 27 minutes right now, 28 minutes, whatever the hell he's doing. And he said he would run it with me and kind of help me keep pace a little bit, which means he'll run slower, obviously. But I think with his encouragement, I think I can do it. I know I can do it. And I'm going to prove you guys all wrong. So that is definitely going to go on there. But my heel is just not quite there yet. It's getting around now. It's coming around. I did start, of course, I'm always starting my diet. Chris isn't here to bust my chops. So let's see. I'm going to look on the computer while we're live here. If Chris made any indication to get on the show, or he just doesn't care. That's how it works over there. There was a day where I was a big part of Chop Sports. Now I'm like the water boy at the end of the bench now. I'm the bat boy. I'm down the left field line catching foul balls. So Chris, if you're listening, hop on the show if you want. So we will run the 5K. That will happen. I got to start getting in shape and a little bit anyway, and start busting it up. Now, I watched Succession on Sunday. Spoiler alert. And I won't spoil the ending. I'm I hated the ending. I'm a fan of the show. And someday, I don't know if one of the producers is listening, which I doubt anyway. I hated the way the show ended, but some people saying that's the only way it had to be. I'm like, I hated it. And I don't want to spoil it. Maybe people haven't watched it yet. It's only Tuesday. They were away for the weekend. I just did not like the way it ended. It didn't make, I thought it was very sad. Robin Achati getting involved, saying, me too. She hated it too. Of course, my sister's on her way here to help me out because I got to move. Everybody. The landlord's selling the place. I got to move. What a pain in the ass. That's why I went to oxymagicusa.com and got my carpets cleaned. Even though, it's like, what am I going to do? I got to move. It's so pain in the ass. Everything's expensive. Rent's expensive. I hate moving. Anyway, I got to go to a therapist to discuss moving. All I want to do is move my bowels. I don't want to move all my shit. And then, of course, you feel like a loser because you kept too much shit. But I don't want to get rid of all my shit. I'll get rid of some of it, but not all of it. I got some memorabilia and stuff that I like to keep, but maybe I will get rid of it. The cleansing. Jimmy Plumbo's cleansing himself here. Maybe I'll do it. I'll get rid of all this stuff just so I can run faster in the 5K. I just didn't like the and Yellow Jackets to me. I was digging that show, and I don't even know what the hell's going on. Again, they're eating people every week. Like I said last week, what is it? But first it was, I'm going to be political. Like I feel bad. I feel bad for now transgenders because that was like the last few years. There's been a lot of transgenders. Now you got to be accountable. Like, so I'm thinking about maybe if in order for me to get on a show, I should become a transgender and I eat people. And that way I think I'll get on a show. You know what I mean? Because the networks are looking, I can just see a network meeting. Yeah, we're looking for some transgenders who eat people. That'll be good, or maybe just someone, if I don't do the transgender, I'll just be a solid Italian guy who eats people. Maybe I'll be eating a body and I'll be like, I tell you, it tastes just like gabagool. It's like, what this is like this is scungeel over here. Like what? It's just every time I turn a TV show on, someone's eating someone. And I say to myself, if you divide the world population by how many people have eaten people that were not in a plane crash in Chile, every time I don't want to see this. It's awful. There's blood all over the place. You know what I mean? Tastes just like chicken day here at the stadium. Here, this is for, if I had to eat someone on television right before, I would just say, this is for the chicken. I would definitely say that right before. Well, what the hell? But it's true, though. You can't be eating people on TV. I'm sitting home. I got a glass of wine. I just had a nice salad. And all of a sudden, I'm watching somebody eat somebody. It's awful. I'm so right about that. Anyway, that's just me being a jerk off. But, of course, the biggest problem is I was Downey Shore this weekend. Tell you what, those of you scoring at home, the Jersey Shore was, sorry, all filled, no room at the inn. Let me tell you something. The Jersey Shore was packed. I was down there at my brother's house in Seagirt, a beautiful affair. It was just jamming. The bars were, I drove by some of the old haunts, Leggett's and DJs and the Osprey. The lines were 2 hours long. I tried to get my nieces in the Osprey, but a friend of mine wasn't working. I was trying to squeeze them in over at these different bars. The DJs was lines out the door. I remember those days, man. First weekend, 80 degrees, sunny. You got your short house. You paid your $1,300 for a half share. You're jam packed. Anybody, listen, I always say, and I'll say this to my daughter, if you can get in on a short house, if you're young, if you're between 22, I would say 22 and 28, those 6 years right there, get a short house, put it on a credit card, cash advance, just do it. Either Belmar, Manasquan, Point Pleasant, it doesn't matter. Just do it because it's escapism. You're young, you're working, you're breaking your ass, but probably not that much money. And Friday comes, you get in the car, you drive down there, and nobody cares what you do for a living when you're down in Manasquan. You could be hanging out with a guy in the house making $1 million a day, and you're making $8 a day. You get down to Manasquan, you are even. You know what I mean? There's girls coming in and out, and the girls' houses, they're looking for guys, and you know what? It's all good, clean fun. I recommend it for any young adult. Go down there, have a good time. And you can go anywhere you want. You got this 4 or 5 towns that you can get short. The LBI thing to me is a little too far, a little bit of pain in the ass, too many families down there. I would say exit 98, do your Manasquan, Belmar, Point Pleasant run there, as they say. But I did go to a barbecue, though. And, of course, I saw some cornhole boards. And you know what happened? I said, you guys do not have proper cornhole. I ran in my car. Yes, I did. I pulled a Chris Gucci, ran in my car and said, guys, you got to go to cornholelevel.com. That's right. For $19.95, you'll get a cornhole leveler. You hook on the hole. Here it is right here, Shay. You hook this bad boy right here up on the thing, and you move the board around. Oh, demonstration here. I'm like a young Martha Stewart. And it makes the board level so you don't embarrass yourself. You're in the backyard, you're having a nice barbecue, you're leaving the potato salad out in the sun too long. At least you got straight, good, clean cornhole boards. Cornholelevel.com. Check it out. It is a perfect level, to, fro, up, down, the perfect angle. That's what you want. So go to cornholelevel.com. It's my friend Mike Caprio's, my second baseman's company. And of course, if you mention the JP show, you get 20% off a $19.95 order. And soon they're going to have the Rutgers thing, the Penn State thing on it, Yankees. He's kind of getting all these franchises to sign up. So it's a really cool thing. It's a good gag gift if you hate cornhole like I do and you want to bust someone's balls who thinks they're really good in it. And me and my brother still think we give us 20 minutes. We'll be as good as anybody. Chris as well. And but go check it out. It's a really cool thing. Cornholelevel.com, one of my fine sponsors here at Shea. The other thing I wanted to discuss is one last thing. I got to squeeze all these in because we're going long here. Chasing Miracles, breakthrough technology, phototherapy patches. I actually got them on right now. They use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems. I'm healing myself in my heel. I'm healing my heel. They're an effective, inexpensive way to reactivate your own stem cells using personal body power source. Instead of pills and surgeries and all that stuff, use this new non-invasive technology, a non-transdermal approach. It reactivates your body's own stem cells without putting anything into your body. You'll love these things. Check them out. Go to chasingmiracles.com. There's tons of information on it. You got to talk to Donna and Tommy. They have the hydrating packs, which I had some of that right here in my water. See, that's in there right now. See that little doohickey in there? Matter of fact, I will hydrate myself live here from the Omni. Look at that. I just shaved off like 8 minutes off my 5K by drinking that thing. So go to chasingmiracles.com. Talk to Don and Tommy. They're cool people. They let you know what the hell's going on. Also, Pine Tar Bar and Grill, Tommy Plinio's business down there. Forked River. Forked River still sounds like you're saying fucking river, right? Forked River, for Christ's sake. But go to Forked River, 609-489-4286. 609-489-4286. That is, I shouldn't give the name of the bar, the Pine Tar Bar and Grill. So go to pinetarbargrill.com. I think this is the best sports bar in New Jersey. Tons of TVs, every game, and good food. He's an Italian guy. He's got a good chef back there. There's no nonsense. It's a big place. You can have a good, solid meal, and the prices are good, too. He keeps them down. Also, Lisa Ruane, a therapist. If you're in a jam, you're not feeling too good about yourself, don't do it alone, man. 201-725-1252. Give Lisa Ruane a call. She'll walk you through. She'll help you out. Go see it. I think she takes some insurances and all that stuff. Don't walk alone on this. If you're feeling, a little depressed, anxiety, whatever the hell it is, we all got that now. Please go talk to Lisa. So that's it. That's all I got here for this fine show number 115 without Chris Gucci. It's always a little harder to do the show by my own, but we had a little text problem. I thought he knew the show was going earlier. So that's it. But I want to give a big thanks to, I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, you know what? How can I not forget this? Beer League, the series, people. I need you guys to go. I'm going to catch so much shit from my producers. I should have did this at the top of the show, but having Gary on threw me off. I couldn't wait to get him on. You got to go on the Instagram, Beer League, the series. You got to go on the YouTube channel. You got to click subscribe. It's real simple. I ain't going to lie to you. We need 1,000 subscribers, and then we can start making a few dollars so we can start making some of these. The whole thing is going to start June 19th. So I'm going to make my Sydney, my my social media person. Can't call her a gal, but she's a young woman. She's awesome. I'm going to do a little ad here and this is how it's going to go. Hey, everybody. Listen, Jimmy Palumbo here, a.k.a. Johnny Trino, getting involved here from the Omni. Listen, Beer League, the series is coming out June 19th. It's going to be released Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, one a day. They're short webisode things. It's really cool. You get to see tons of the cast. We think it's pretty funny. We're excited about it. So you have to go onto YouTube, Beer League, the series, look for it, search it. Look for the links, go there and subscribe. We need to get over 1,000 subscribers. Make a comment, whether you love it, hate it, just keep on commentating on it. Also go to Instagram, Beer League, the series, go to my official Jimmy Palumbo, Facebook, whatever you got to do, look it up. It's all there. Beer League, the series is coming out June 19th. Johnny Trino, Alphonse, and Manganelli, and a bunch of others are in it. And, it's going to be a good time. So please support it. And that's it. So that's my ad for Beer League, the series, June 19th. Getting involved here. That's it. Signing off the Jimmy Palumbo show. Thank you for Gary Valentine for coming on. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week with a very special guest.